All right, with that, we move on to our next special talk, which is Unleashing the Power of the Involved Employee. Our session partner is Top Employers Institute, and I'd like to invite Billy Elliott, who's the Top Employers Institute's Regional Director of APAC. He's worked with this global HR certification firm headquartered in the Netherlands for over 13 years. He's worked in a variety of positions covering marketing, sales, HR auditing, and operations. Billy has a strong belief in the organization's purpose and is dedicated to accelerating the impact of people strategies to enrich the world of work. Please put your hands together for Billy Elliott, everyone.
Who paid you for that introduction? It must have been me, and I'm living proof that airbrushing does work. I'm not that good looking in real life. So good morning to all attendants. My name is Billy Elliott, Regional Director for Asia Pacific, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, first time ever in India, and certainly not the last time. And I'll definitely be coming back for personal reasons, hopefully with my family, and to tickle for a bucket list dream of mine, which is to watch a test match at Eden Gardens. I don't know if you're going to be clapping for me after this joke, but obviously I'm very, very proud of the fact that South Africa, my country of birth, happened to beat India in the knockout stages of the recent ICC Cricket World Cup. Waited only for us to be knocked out by the Netherlands of all countries and not progress to the semi-final stages, which is obviously something India did achieve, and I would have loved nothing more for India to have beaten England, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. But hopefully we'll get our revenge sometime soon. I could stand here talking about cricket for the next 10 minutes because it's a big passion of mine. I was a budding leg spinner, but that career was short-lived, and I found myself in the world of HR. And I look forward to spending the next 10 minutes with you covering my topic called Unleashing the Power of the Involved Employee. And this particular topic comes from our recently published 2022 World of Work Trends Report. So a very quick introduction about the company that I'm very proud and honored to represent. We're called the Top Employers Institute, and we are the global authority on certifying organizations based on the quality and strength of your HR strategy and practices. And for over 31 years, our firm has been dedicated to creating a better world of work for employees. And our organization's unique selling proposition in the global employer of choice ecosystem is in fact that we are the only company in the world that certifies organizations as top employers based on an audit of your HR practices as opposed to employee opinion survey-based data. So through our survey, we enable companies to assess and improve and benchmark their workplace on an annual basis. And recognition for your HR practices, we will then certify you and put you in the spotlight as a world-class company to work for. And obviously give you one of our certification seals, which will enable you to attract, retain, and engage top talent to your organization. In 2022, we officially certified 1,857 organizations from 123 countries throughout the world. And I think the thing that we're most proud of is collectively, our top employers are positively impacting the lives of over 8 million employees worldwide. And that is a key metric that we as an organization use to measure the success of our program and our top employers in terms of creating a better world of work for all. So these are the 297 companies that we certified in throughout Asia for 2021. And I've got a saying that you're often judged by the company that you keep. And one thing I will say is that we're very proud of our association with these great organizations. In fact, maybe some of you are lucky enough to work for them. And you know, if I bring it closer to home in India, there are 28 of those organizations that have come from here that we have proudly certified. Obviously looking forward to expanding our impact with many other Indian organizations in the future. So we do have different types of certifications, and these are the organizations that have been regionally certified. And in order to carry our blue APAC seal, you need to be certified in a minimum of 5 countries in the same region. And what's very important for these organizations is that they have a consistent employer branding message to talent, and that's why they want to carry the same certification. They want recognition for their HR practices. And I'm sure a couple of those brands might be very familiar to you, some notable Indian companies, Infosys, HCL, and of course the global conglomerate TCS, which is actually one of our biggest clients throughout the world. So I'm setting the scene before I get to the best practice stuff. So here's a quick overview about the strength of our data set in order to give credibility in terms of the best practices that I'll share with you in a moment. And on the map is where we are certifying organizations in 123 countries throughout the world. So our data is not skewed to one region or the next. There is a fair distribution throughout the world because this is a global HR certification program. And furthermore, we recognize top employers based on a globally aligned certification program. So what we do in India is exactly what our clients have to do in the US, the UK, Kenya, Singapore, you name it. Every company is measured against global best practice. And our certification process is a stringent one. It's audited. And you also have to have your survey audited by one of our HR auditors to obviously test and confirm the implementation of those HR practices for your people. And furthermore, our entire process is then externally audited by global auditing firm BDO, where they will test us to make sure that we've implemented everything correctly. And finally, on the right-hand side, you see the sector splits that are involved in the certification program. And if you take these top 10 industry sectors, this accounts for 66% of our survey data. So the point I'm trying to make is the results and our data is very, very meaningful. Right, so let's get into the meat of the presentation. Good levels of employee engagement will no longer be enough for any organization to thrive. And in a highly competitive market for talent, the best employees will need to be deeply immersed in shaping the design of their roles and the purpose of their work. And for an organization to truly prosper, they must enable employees to have an active influence in decision-making across their working lives and far beyond the narrow confines of their job description. Very much like what the fantastic group of HR leaders were just speaking about now. Very inspirational. And based on our 2022 global benchmarking data, 83% of our organizations that we certify are involving employees in both organization and work design. And that is up from 77% the year before. So our top employees are cottoning on to how important this is to engage employees outside of their job descriptions. And those doing it very well are bringing together diverse groups of employees from different business units, from different geographies, all with relatively different years of seniority. And the result is more innovation, faster solutioning, and a ready-made team of ambassadors who are prepped to land change management far more effectively. And we all know how difficult change management is. So why not get our employees on board and get them to drive the process with us? So what I'm going to do quickly is share a couple of best practices and two case studies from our very own company that I'm proud to represent around how we have involved our people and how this has really positively impacted our business. So just a side note, these trends and best practices can be applied to all areas of business, all areas of HR. It's just some examples that I'm sharing with you today. So let's look at the hybrid working challenges, which some companies are executing with great success and other organizations potentially aren't getting it right and they're still learning. And I do believe that our company got it right, whereby HR facilitated a group of involved employees across the business to come up with a human-centric solution which didn't involve any company-wide or executive involvement. This was our people driving this process. And it's founded on three simple beliefs, which you see on screen now. All our people are professionals. All professionals want to be successful. And what defines success for us as a company is us achieving our business objectives, obviously, but also that we drive our own personal well-being and the purpose of our organization, which is to create a better world of work for all. Oh, sorry, I haven't finished the slide. I need to carry on. So in practice, all of our leaders were trained to facilitate team workshops with their direct reports. And what was great was each individual employee had the opportunity to talk about how they want to work without any preconceived ideas or judgments. So we made it a very, very safe space where employees could be totally honest and transparent with their employees in terms of what makes them tick from a working perspective. And they gave examples of when they want to be home, when they need to be in the office. And as a collective, they came up with a rhythm that worked for the team. And that is how they defined how they would implement this human-centric way that we have implemented as an organization. All keeping in the back of their mind that obviously it cannot impact the organization's performance. And we were exceptionally ecstatic with the results and the outcome. And at the mid-year review part of our year, 99.5% of our employees were positive and happy with our hybrid way of working. I'm thinking perhaps 0.5% may have misunderstood the question, but I do try and strive for perfection. Moving on to employee wellness. Now, this is very, very personal to individuals, and everybody is different. So my well-being, assessment or needs is very different, to yours. And what we are noticing is that customization is now becoming key from an HR best practice point of view. And a personalized needs assessment does help employees create a more customized and focused well-being strategy that is driven by practices that are relevant to all employees, throughout the organization. And this is why nearly 64% of our top employers now are offering customized wellness plans to their employees. And that is a massive increase from 52% the year before that you see on screen. And well-being is going to become expected by your employees, notably among top talent, because people want a wellness program that aligns with their personal values. And this is becoming a crucial part of the employee experience and the reputation of any organization. So a word of advice, please ensure that well-being features somewhere, at least on your top 5 HR priorities heading into 2023, because it's critical based on what's come out of our data. The next thing I want to talk about is, as we all know, organizations are also having to pay careful and very focused attention on inclusivity. And I would love to share a really great example of how we did this at our company. So based on qualitative research that we ran with our employees at the beginning of 2022, we got overwhelming feedback from our workforce that our values were outdated, they were no longer fit for purpose, they didn't resonate with our current company culture, and the way that the values were created last time was very top-down driven. Our exco defined what the values should be with our company. So our senior leadership team really took this feedback to heart, and they decided to flip the process on its head. And they selected a truly diverse group of employees who would be responsible for creating our new values. And they were brilliant in their approach. They defined objectives, they defined their roles and responsibilities, and they ran focus groups with our senior leaders within the organization. And then they also did focus groups with 5 very diverse groups of employees throughout our business. And the information that came out of those focus groups were absolutely invaluable. And that was the foundation to help us define what our new values were going into January 2023 next year. So based on that insight, we've now created 4 clean, beautiful values that are very inspiring and very much aligned to our way of working. They're fit for purpose, aligned to our company culture, and our new human-centric way of working, as I shared with you a couple of slides ago. And I think the thing that I was most proud of is that no stage did we ever require the services of an external company who specializes in creating company culture and values. This was all driven by our people and not by our executive leaders. And our values are they're beautiful. I mean, I would love to share them with you today, but I can't. They're under embargo, and we'll be launching them in January of next year, as I mentioned. But they're so authentic. And the reason why they're so authentic for me personally is because they were created by people from all walks of life, different business units, different levels of seniority. They come from different countries, different nationalities. But what united them was our purpose. That was the common element, that was the common thread throughout, for a better world of work. And that's what they used to guide them when creating our new values. So in the interest of transparency, the one thing I want to share with you, as I mentioned, we're a very diverse company made up of so many different nationalities. We're all over the world. And our project team decided that the 4th value, we would allow every employee to select the personal work value that was most relevant to them, where they would have the opportunity to actually share it with their employees. And as you can imagine, there is so much that you can do with that. That is about you as an individual. It's not a sort of top-down approach forcing you into our company values. We are saying, be vulnerable, come forward, and tell us what your personal value is. What makes you tick in the workplace? And as you can see on screen, that is the personal work value that I have defined for myself going into January 2023. And that is an area of leadership that I need to work on as a human being. That is feedback that has been given to me by my direct reports. And my commitment to them is by saying, right, guys, that is going to become my personal work value going into 2023. And that is how I want to be measured as a leader in our organization. As you can imagine, there is so much that we can now do as a company from an engagement perspective when it comes to our values. And I thought that was an ingenious idea from that values team. So that brings my rather short but hopefully sweet presentation to an end. I'd like to thank you for attending, and I hope this short presentation has given you some motivation and inspiration. A copy of the presentation will be shared with all delegates. And obviously, if you want to learn more about our 2022 World of Work Trends Report, you're more than welcome to download it using that QR code. And obviously, if you'd like to learn more about how to become recognized as one of the world's leading top employers through our program, we're currently at booth 62 and 63, so we'd love to have a chat. Alternatively, you're more than welcome to connect with me on email, and I would love to learn more about what your HR strategy is and obviously how we can support you going into the future. So, take care. I hope you enjoy the other sessions, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Billy, for helping us understand employee involvement a little bit better.